So in this video, we're going to look a little bit more at Portal. And so I use the term RCView kind of generically. Inside of RCView, we're actually using Portal, which is the mapping interface inside of here. So we see that there's a tile here that's called Map Portal. And if I click on that, you can see I actually get a different gallery inside of here, and this updates as new maps are made across the organization. Up here at the top, I have a little menu, and we're going to kind of skip around through here. One that we're going to focus on a lot is called My Content. So this is going to be where any maps that you generate are stored. You can upload files here. You can actually save them and share them with other people, which we'll get into a little later on. One thing I want to show you here is over on the side, you can actually make little folders. So these are past maps that I've worked on and saved, just kind of organize the system so it doesn't get very cluttered. So right now, what I want you to do is make one called training, and I already have it, so I'll show you how to delete a folder real quick. You just click on it and hit delete. So if I didn't have a training folder, I would hit new, just name the folder training. So go ahead and do this if you're going to be taking an RCView class. I'd recommend just go ahead and set this folder up. You can save any of the maps that you're working on when you go to the class. It's already set up. When the class is over, you know that you can delete everything in the training folder and save space on the system. So I've made that new training folder. Throughout the class, we'll save items inside of there. Up across the top, go to groups. We'll talk about that real quick. By default, you're automatically added to a group, which you saw earlier. You had that map for your region. So you're in your region group by default. You can actually make your own groups as well. So let's say I was working on a home fire campaign and I just wanted to make some maps that just a few people are going to be working on, editing, sharing back and forth. So I could make a group, have a little description down here at the bottom. I could actually set the level anyone could search and find this group, or only people that I invite to the group can be added into this. So that's a helpful feature, especially if you're working with people in different locations. Groups are very nice for that. Over here to gallery. Gallery is just going to show you pretty much everything that's been created within the Red Cross organization. So we have a few filters we can sort by the most viewed or the most recent. So most viewed might be helpful if you just kind of want to see what people are using the system for. You can see what's a very popular map that's out there. Most recent I find is really helpful if you're working with a group of people. You can actually just turn that on, and if somebody that's sitting at a computer across the room from you just updated a map or a file or something like that, you can just kind of quickly access it right away. So that's very helpful. Over on the side here, we can actually filter by just specific content. So as we go through the course, this will make a little more sense. I can actually make a map and share it with someone. I can make an individual layer and just share that layer so other people can build maps with that layer as well, or individual files that are uploaded. That could be an image. If I have a specific logo or something, I can save that and share that through the whole organization. And of course, you can make things that aren't viewable here, that are private and locked in, and we'll talk about that more when we get to sharing. There's the My Organization tab at the top, which really is just finding other viewers or users in the system. You can search for someone here. We won't really talk about scene. Maybe if there's time towards the end of the course, I'll add a little bit about that. But My Content is going to be a big area. Wherever you're creating or saving things, that's where you're going to find them. So if you log in to rcview.redcross.org, you won't see that banner across the top with that My Content, things like that. So you might log in here and say, I want to find the map that I was working on. That's where you'll go into Portal. And now that I'm in Portal, I actually can't get back to those tiles that I had earlier where it says My Region and Dat and things like that. You won't see that across here. If I just hit home, it always brings me back here. So that's why having that bookmark is very helpful. So I could actually create a new map as well. That's one button I didn't go over, just by hitting map. So create something called My Map. And that's actually what we're going to get into in the next section, but actually just really quickly to talk about some of the features that we have here. We're going to talk about adding layers in the next video actually, but next to that there's an option here called Base Map. I just kind of want to talk about that really quickly. Base Map is actually just the base of the map, as about as general as I can get it. I can choose one that has satellite imagery. So I'm in Florida, so I'm just going to zoom down here to Florida. So if I'm wanting a map that shows something in kind of the natural environment, I could choose that base map. That one does take a little while to load, so you got to start thinking about your internet speed, of course. If you're wanting something that's more navigation based, streets, which a lot of people are kind of familiar with this layout from Google Maps and other kind of navigation. One that I really like to work with is the light gray. It loads very fast. It doesn't have a lot of elements that can kind of distract from your map. So these are things to kind of just think about as you're building maps. Just know that you have access to these different types of base layers here. You can even do satellite with imagery, which is very helpful. The next one here is save. So you'll notice there's two options here, save and save as. This will become pretty useful throughout. One is you obviously want to save your work as you're going through. Save as is kind of nice because you can actually make a derivative of someone else's map. So if there's a map another user has made and it's got pretty much everything you need and you just need to add one more feature or layer to it, you can do save as and make a copy of that map. That's actually what we'll do in the next section here. Sharing is something we'll get to towards the end. The measurement tool we looked at a little bit earlier in the DRO tracker, so we won't go through that too much. Up in the top corner, we can always go up here and create a new map. Again, that's a new way that we can create maps, is setting the new map up here. So that's just kind of a quick rundown of the portal system here. Again, if I hit home, it doesn't take me back to those RC view tiles that we were looking at earlier. Portal is just one element of RC view. So it's just kind of important to remember that distinction here. RC view is not just mapping, it's other things other than mapping. Portal is where we do mapping at. So if I want to get back to RC view, I have my little bookmark at the top here. So in the next video, we'll actually get into a map and start working with some layers.